the place where danger waits, and it's bound to forsake me. So stupid minded, but I go crazy when I
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. We introduce you to your future favorite artists today while celebrating the voices of the independent artists that's going to take our culture and our music to new heights into the future. That means with great sound, great articulation, great beats, and great messages. And tonight we have a part 2 to an interview that we did earlier, maybe like a month or so ago. And this interview not only caused shockwaves within the culture, it got more people to understand that what you rhyme about is just as important, if not more important, than how you present, I don't know, your image. Because maybe your image does some, but the message would do most. Because words live on. Thank you for watching the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast tonight. Be sure you hit the like button when you come in. All right, like, share, comment. Let's get everybody up on this because this interview is special. I welcome back one of my favorite MCs I've met while doing Heritage Hip Hop. And I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people who rhyme. I met a lot of people who do this much for themselves and the culture. But this is somebody who's going, I believe, to not only grab your heart once you get to know her, when you hear her music, it's going to take you to another level of understanding. I want to introduce you to one of my favorite new MCs, She Real. What's going on?
How you doing?
I don't know. I'm all right. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you as well. This is dope. I'm excited for this part because I feel like last time we were kind of gatekeeping the project, and
Yeah.
this time we get to really talk about it.
So let's catch people up to what's been going on. You released your 9th studio album.
Right.
Talk about that, the name of the album and the direction you wanted to go with the project.
Yeah, so the name of that project is called I Don't Rap About My Pussy. That is basically I try to utilize shock value to get the attention of everyone in hip hop who I felt had their backs turned because the hypersexualization of the Black woman in hip hop in mainstream is at an all-time high. And I was just looking for a way to showcase that women can give you bars, lyricism, storytelling without it being focused on their body. You know, like I lead with my mind, basically.
That's dope. And sex is one of the most major parts of life that has been overproduced, oversaturated to the point now where it's being introduced to people more younger at an alarming rate. So the simple fact you said I don't rap about my pussy, that is an eye-catching title. And then let's not even get into the marketing yet. Let's focus on what is the power of pussy and why is it important not to write about it?
The power of it is in that really depends on the woman. Because you lose value when you don't know your worth. Because it's almost like you're always valuable forever. The Black woman, in my opinion, is forever valuable or invaluable. But I feel like the weight that you hold is based upon where you are, what frequency you're on, where you are mentally, spiritually. Um, so I'm not going to sit here and say that they still aren't our future, or they still aren't the leaders of different generations to come, and they're not valuable in some sort of way for anyone who is doing the opposite, right? Because I guess I'm living in the law of opposite. But I feel like you're more valuable when you show that you have more in your arsenal and you don't have to lead with sex. Because I feel like I came from an era where I'm looking at people like, even if we just talk about entertainment, music or television or movies, it's like from an Angela Bassett to a Felicia Rashad. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about, they are two beautiful women. It's not all about sex all the time. You didn't get that all the time from Living Single. You didn't get that all the time from somebody like Eve. You didn't get that all the time from different people, from an MC Light. You didn't get that all the time. Like, there's hella people. You could go down the list of just different people from different eras and different levels or types of entertainment, that it's just like they had something more to bring to the table.
I agree. There was a time at one point where, I think you said it on your album. It said, please to everybody out there watching, hit the like button when y'all come in. It was said one time that the culture goes the way of the woman.
Where the women go, the culture goes. That's a
And
fact.
I remember the only love song Public Enemy ever made is called Revolutionary Generation. And it's about the woman. And I remember the man speaking was like, these racists don't care about you. They don't care about your mama. They don't care about your wife. They don't care about your sister. They don't, such and such. And it said, he ended the song with Mary McLeod Bethune being an example of a fine woman who led with her character, not with her look. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that song? Fear of a Black Planet, Public Enemy. One of my favorite albums.
Okay.
But yeah. So to have a woman in today's society say, where everybody talking about, pussy pink, booty hole brown. I have a woman who can bar you the hell up and say, I don't rap about this sexual thing. I want you to get to know me for my mind and combat your lust and come to me as an intellectual.
Yeah, because the guys don't have to live in that space 24/7 to be acknowledged. And I feel like even people that influence me, like a Eve, because I'm gonna say her name again, and I've said this in the previous interview, that I felt like Love Is Blind was one of the greatest stories ever told in hip hop. It's like I want to be able to carry a torch of that nature. Like, I want people to be able to look at me, which is what Consequences is a reflection of from the project. Consequences. I felt like the last verse of Love Is Blind, when she was like, I don't even know you, and I kill you myself. You play with her like a put her back on herself, wouldn't let her go to school, and no, I don't know you. She said, I don't even know you, and I want you dead to know the facts, but I saw the blood pour from my head. See, I lay down beside her in the hospital bed, and about 2 hours later, the doctor said she was dead. Right, that's the third verse. But she took matters into her own hand after seeing what her best friend was going through in the hands of a man who was abusing his power. I feel like Consequences was me giving you that, but using what I was seeing in the current culture, the state of the culture, with men of power abusing their power in a different way, not in a relationship, but just industry wise, and women getting their revenge, as opposed to it being one individual. It's like all of the women getting their power back. So it's like I'm conscious of my influences growing up and finding ways to kind of just carry that torch and be able to tell certain stories, or be able to give you certain cadences or certain flows, or be punchline heavy because I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like stuff like that is what keeps me up at night, listening to different people trying to figure out how the fuck did they, how did they paint that picture like that? Why does their mind work like that? And it's just like, I want people to listen to me and get the same feeling, because I feel like I'm a fan first, like.
Word. And shout out to Ty Phoenix, one of the greatest female artist, period. She's on watching you, and I would love to bring everybody to your lecture so you could teach about I Don't Rap About My Pussy, the album, today. So I want to ask you a question in theory before we go into the album in context. There was a TV show back in the day called Sliders. You ever heard of it? It was a TV show where people were trapped in a time stream and they went to different realities, a multiverse. And they had to try to get back home, but they were stuck in different worlds. That was the same world as ours, but had a different element to it.
Wow.
And one world they went to was where women were the dominant in society and men were the sexual objects.
Wow.
You know how you have times when you have a girlfriend and she'll cry because a guy doesn't like her and she's trying to do everything to be something for this man. And it was like that. And this man was crying to another man about a woman not liking him. And the guy from our world was like, man, you better man up. You a man. Who do you think you are? And he was like, well, what do you mean? Like, we don't act like you. That's so unmasculine. And the roles reversed.
Wow.
Let me ask you a question. In context to your album, if men had to make an album that says, I don't rap about my penis because
That
they
would
were
be
the sexual
weird.
object.
Right.
Exactly. How do you think the context of hip hop would be seen then, in your opinion?
Yeah, I had this this is so crazy. Yo, the universe got us funny. Because I had this whole conversation. Shout out to one of my people, Marissa Joy, right? Author, actress, screenplay writer, like just brilliant mind, beautiful energy. And she her and I were talking about if we could travel back in time, like in Back to the Future, what would we do? And I was like, I would be an asshole and I would go to the birth of hip hop and I would be rhyming at all the parties and and replacing all the guys in every era with all these songs. And it would be women that were leading when it came to the storytelling and the bars, and we would be the ones that everybody knew we talk like this, we move like this, just to see what that culture shift would be like. And we were cracking up about it, like just conceptually what that would feel like. And I think it would be no different from how do I say this? I remember listening to David Banner speak about how some Black people just want to be at the top so they could be the ones to hold the whip.
Yeah.
So I feel like if the roles were reversed in that way, I don't feel like it would actually be any better. I think it would be just as fucked up, just in reverse. And so it would be more so about the balance is what's necessary on both sides, like it's not about one side dominating more than the other or one side outshining the other. When we talk about the battle of the sexes, it should be about the balance that we bring, the unity that we bring, how we can both exist in the same space and time and elevate the culture together. You feel me? But be acknowledged for what we are capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Nicki Minaj catch a lot of hell. Like I remember when she was talking about how Anaconda came out and how everybody was like bugging out over that video and the song and what it meant. And when she created the argument about if this was a guy, y'all wouldn't be acting like this. And I sat back and thought about it and I was like, she's telling the truth, because guys can sit up there and say all types of shit about women and they don't catch hell for it in the same way. It's more accepted. But when a woman does it to herself, or a woman showcases her body or has that control over her sexuality in that way and leads with it, then it's a problem. But it was okay when we just bitches and hoes and we following behind, like. So I feel like it's not really about, I wouldn't really want to know. It's funny to laugh about if we were the dominant species in that way, but it wouldn't actually be a positive. It would be just as bad. It would be just as bad.
That's an interesting concept, because I was thinking about this before our interview. Black people, especially American cultured ones, we're the only society historically where the man was the forefront, but the woman was an equal. If you think about We don't have stories of men that would beat women in the head, drag them to the cave, have sex with them, and give them dinosaur meat to cook.
Okay.
Or we don't have a
But
history of.
but I thought we was never in caves though, not us.
I know I'm making that
Oh,
point.
okay. I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
making that
like,
point.
what?
We never had a history of the men went to war and the women were collateral based upon how many children they were able to give, and if they couldn't have children, they were killed. We weren't like that, and we were, even though we've had polygamy, we've had the stepdad families and stuff like that. We never had it where the man was so hard determined that he kept his woman down, that even when a woman submitted, he still went to his woman for advice. So that's the history of our people, longevity. And it seems that within the loss of our community being in the forefront, we have more barefoot in the kitchen. We have more get behind me, do as I say, or I'll do this to you. And people were taught how to disrespect rather than to connect. So being that balance was lost, how important do you think, before we get into your album, how important do you think your album is for this climate of hip hop and why it needs to be heard?
I mean, this climate of hip hop in regards to mainstream, there we lack balance. There's a few women that can give you substance, sure, but we're outnumbered and outmatched when it comes to the guys. Like I wish I could say like, and that's my thing about even culturally, historically, I wish that women were able to link up and form squads the way guys do. Because a lot of the biggest squads or crews in hip hop would have a bunch of men and one woman. You know, I feel like the Native Tongues had to, Murder Inc. had to, in regards to rappers. Murder Inc. had they had a singer as well, but they had Vita and Charlie Baltimore. Am I tripping? They okay. I was like number wise, whatever, regardless of opinion, number wise they had to. You know what I'm saying? But it's like most crews usually just have one female, and so I feel like it became a standard or a norm for either a woman to stand alone or be the only one in a crew, which kind of minimized how many we were allowing in and when it comes to the industry or giving that platform to. So I feel good at what I was able to contribute to the culture with this project because I feel like top to bottom, there's no holes. Like, pause. I feel like you could pick apart any record and I feel like the record is solid. You know what I'm saying? The story's solid, the cadence is solid, the bars are solid, the message is solid. Um, there's versatility, you got the skits and everything, which I think skits is something that are kind of fallen to the wayside in this generation, and we need more conceptual albums. So that was a focus of mine with this project as well. But I wish I had more ladies' night camaraderie. I wish it was just as simple as like watching the brat in like a Functified and you see everybody and their mama that you idolize is in the background chilling at the party. Like, um, and you do see it in pockets, you know, because somebody like Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla will link up. I've seen Nicki link up with like a Ice Spice and stuff. Like you see it in pockets, but when it comes to the bar heavy females, the super conceptual females, like I don't see enough link ups in that area. I know I've seen Rhapsody do it. Her and Lady London, I believe I saw like a Genius clip where they were breaking down the record they had together. And I know that Rhapsody has a Lekele 47 feature on the joint that has all the different songs that are named after women, like the Oprah and the Whoopi and Aaliyah. She Lekele 47's on that album. I think she on the Whoopi record. I could be wrong. And but I'm just like I need more. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to like like on some back to back to back, just see like the women that could really fucking rap, like link up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like what I got is great. What I think Rhapsody got going on is great. I think Tierra Whack is great. I think Lekele 47 is great. Like we got some people out here that are really dope. But I just wish there was more link ups. Like I like what people are doing, but it's not enough of us. We outnumbered. So I feel like I'm contributing, but I'm not the only one. It's just that mainstream, the people with the machines, the people with the bags, especially in an era where niggas ain't even making as much money off of their music. Like if you got a machine and a bag behind you, you had an advantage. You had an advantage. If you had a record label that has ties with the DSPs, you had an advantage over everyone. So it's like I feel like I'm like taking shots at the throne, you know what I'm saying, from the outside, like outside the building and shit. But I mean, I got a lot to offer. It's just that in an era like this, I think the most powerful thing that I'm doing is that my shit is not on DSPs. That I found a way to convert into album sales, convert my music to album sales directly from my platform and not relying on streams. I think that's the most effective aspect of what I'm doing, apart from what I'm talking about. But apart from that, I think the people with the machines are the ones that are still low key winning in regards to positioning and visibility, not necessarily what they are bringing to the table, with the exception to a select few.
That's why the underground and the so-called independent artists will always run it. Because like you said, the last time I seen something like that, once again, Ty Phoenix, Star, and Queen Heroin, they did something together. It was a song, wasn't a project. They're very lyrical, and they are some of the greats. Like I understand what you're talking about. I would love to see an old school and new school artists come together as a group and do some things. I would love to see like Lin Q and Shay Noir with Ty Phoenix. Like I would love to see that. That would be interesting because the female voice is one of the most necessary voices in our culture. And it's sad that in the last 22 years, maybe 24 years, that's when the female was getting so much mainstream acceptance that it started a mainstream beef, Kim, Nicki, and all that, right? And talking about not having it on DSPs, look, I'll buy my copies. Look, that's on my keys, y'all. Why did you do it like this, though? Because this was one of the most nerve-wracking things I had to go through to get this thing played on my
Man,
phone.
nah,
Tell me
nah, you
about that.
wildin'. It's not nerve-wracking because I feel like that's horrible promotion. The shit is clever. It creates a personalized experience for the listener. You tap that up against your phone, you know what I'm saying? It might be, especially for iPhone users, it's a little easier. With Android users, you have to make sure your NFC setting is on. But you're just basically tapping the back of your phone, and then a link pops up that allows you to listen to the entire album top to bottom. I feel like it's leading in regards to technology. And I feel like if artists wanted to try to get into physical sales, they now have something that actually makes sense and kind of coincides with what's taking place with this era and this pocket of time. It may not allow people to, like, once the link pop up, you can't airdrop it or nothing like that. It's still like individualized, kind of like a CD is. Like you would have to physically give them that mini NFC CD in order for them to have the same experience as you, which is why it's dope. It's no different from a vinyl or a CD or a cassette. It's just digital. And I was like, how could I find a way to bring people to me, but give them a keepsake or something? Because low key, I'm not going to be here forever, but I know that CDs can become outdated. The machines, the vinyls, even though there's a wave and trend with that back, everybody's not on that kick. That's a certain pocket of people. Cassettes, I saw that come back for a certain amount of time, but everybody's not on that kick. So I'm like, what could I do that anybody with a cell phone can tap into? And I felt like the mini NFC CDs was the perfect, like it just fit into that pocket of anybody with a cell phone could tap in, literally tap it and you get the album. You know what I'm saying? And it's worth it. There's not one person that has purchased one and listened to the project that hit me up like, what is this bullshit? Like everybody's like, yo, this is crazy. And I'm like, and you got it forever. It's not a CD you could scratch. It's not a vinyl you can scratch. It's not a cassette tape with the shit inside, the tape inside is about to get hooked into the coils, and you got to figure out a way to tape this back. Nobody can record over your shit, by accident. It's none of that, So I like it because I feel like one day it'll be a conversation. There'll only be a select few that actually have one. And I hope historically it'll be like a catalyst. Like I'm looking right now to be a catalyst for independent artists to put the power back in their hands when it comes to controlling their music. Like I low key wanted to gatekeep it and be like, fuck this, I'm the only one. But then I was like, nah, fuck that. Like everybody, come on, let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the streaming shit ain't working. Why not create a new way?
I still say it was a hell because I had to call you to see what the hell do I do with this thing. But y'all, I'm gonna keep it real. This thing right here, when I got it to work, it opened up the possibilities of so much more I could do with my own platform, which is not making music yet, but it's something that pushes the envelope of thought. And that's what hip hop always was supposed to do. Push the envelope of thought to get the world to recognize us, who we are, what we do, and acknowledge it for the greatness that it is. So before we go before we go into the project, we're going to take a commercial break. Everybody sit back, relax. It's about to get real with She Real, and we're going to talk about music that doesn't talk about pussy. So I'll be back after this.
Where you get your hip hop from? Yeah. What's up? This Tribal Trigger Trench in the building. You already know. Nip, naughty.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media.
What up, y'all, man? It's your boy Do It All, Dupre Kelly, right here on Heritage Hip Hop, man. Look, man, let me tell you something. Make sure you support Heritage Hip Hop, because without these brothers bringing you hip hop, we're not gonna stay informed, man, the way that we need to stay informed, man. And they're not just giving you hip hop, man. They're giving you the heritage of hip hop right here, man. Yo, Kareem, I see you. Heritage Hip Hop, man. Let's do it. It ain't nothing like Heritage Hip Hop.
Welcome back to the independent voice of independent artists worldwide, Heritage Hip Hop, which we introduce you to your future favorite artists today. And today we're talking about this album right here, I Don't Rap About My Pussy by She Real. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is one of the albums that made me really sit down. Yeah, that right there with the hair. This is one of those albums that really made me sit down and appreciate music all over again. There's certain albums that have done it, and this year, this cycle, I should say, for the Heritage Hip Hop Awards, I have 2 albums that made me really love music again. 2, and this is one of them. So I wanted her to come back on the podcast to really delve into the album, and I want to get into it right now. So let's talk about, we're not going to do every song, but we're going to do some of the pivotal songs I think stood out the most. And I want to start out with the Sunday Morning Freestyle, because that introduced everyone to the beginning of something that was going to change their ear. Please talk about the Sunday Morning Freestyle and how that came together.
Oh shit. So that was one of the tracks that came about later. I wish I could say I was somebody who always knew what they were going to talk about before But a lot of times the instrumental that I receive or the beat that I receive is what dictates the message. And I had that beat for a couple months before I even knew what the fuck I wanted to do with it. That shit, I don't know why. It was just conceptually, I was intentional in regards to giving the producer 1719 references and saying what type of sound I was looking for. That was intentional. Having the different Foley, like outdoor noises threaded throughout the record, that was intentional. Those were all conversation pieces prior to the beat being created. But once I got the beat, I was like, damn, I don't actually know how I want to approach this. And I had a whole idea and I swore that's what I was going to do. And then I went in a whole nother direction. It really just became the intro for the project. Kind of like um it kind of made me think about Drake, no bullshit, in regards to in Nothing Was the Same, when he said how much time is this nigga spending on the intro. Like that entire intro for that project, I felt like he was just rapping. And so for this, I was just like, yeah, I just wanna talk. You know what I'm saying? But like really give you bars, because there's a lot of projects that I'm so focused on trying to create a song that I don't just show you that, yo, I could just rap, kind of like how Wayne on the Carter 2 had Fly In the Mob in the beginning of that project. And I felt like those are two records where he was just rapping before he started giving you like Fireman and all the other shit that was on that project. He gave you bars in the beginning, and I was like, that was also another album that I was thinking about that and thinking about how many intros um on certain projects that they kind of give you like letting you know what kind of beats they were early on before we get into the concept. So it was really just like that. Like I had fun with it, but also was like, I want punchline after punchline. Like I'm trying to kick you through your chest, you know?
Yeah, you definitely deliver lyrically. But I'm gonna ask you a question. Is Sunday the beginning of the week or the end of the week?
The beginning.
It's funny I actually began this project with this song. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna connect that later. Pay attention, y'all. One of the songs that really grabbed me, and I had to call you on it because I really got into my meditation with it. The song that gave me meditation was Murder Self Hate. Murder Self Hate is a mental health montage, if I really think about it, because self hate can cause you to kill your life while you're still walking around. And to murder it means to intentionally kill the thing that holds you back. Please talk about that, because that is one of the highlights, and that's a moment on this album for me.
I feel like a lot of us, based upon things that we're taught, things based upon ways we're taught to look at the world and ourselves, based upon messages that are presented to us in regards to programming. There's a lot of people in this world that hate themselves or don't like themselves, and they don't even know it. You know, I'm somebody who is my own worst critic, and apart from what I can see in other people in regards to your bad habits or aspects of your what you do habitually shows how you actually feel about yourself. And then some people might feel like, I love myself because I do this and I do that. And it's like, that's cool. But if you have to strip away all your, worldly things, who are you for real? How do you operate for real at your core? And there's a lot of moments where I think throughout my life I struggled with confidence. The one character I've always felt like I could relate to was Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon. Like he just spent the whole fucking movie not understanding that he was the master. So I think there's a lot of moments that throughout my life, even today, that I feel like that. And so I felt like when I was creating this record, it was just about being as transparent as I possibly could be and getting everything out that I felt like I was dealing with at that current point in time, and not allowing it to chain me or cage me in a way that, um, your doubts, your fears, moving from a place of lack is capable of doing. And when shout out to C, I met her at the 1500 Sound Academy. C is a phenomenal vocalist. Her voice has a lot of pain in it. When she sent me back the hook, I was just like, man, I was just crying like a baby because I was like, man, this is completely captures exactly what I was trying to say. Because that's the main message of the song. I want people to understand, like, it's the self-hate. Like, if you could learn how to love yourself, and this is for any and everybody, that is how the journey begins, for where the change can be created as a people. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we need to work on as a community, but I think a lot of it at the root has to deal with how people view themselves. Because if we viewed ourselves in a more powerful way, in a more respectable way, in a more loving way, there's a lot of things we wouldn't be out here doing to each other, saying to each other, trying on each other, shit like that.
Which is very interesting because this album hits on so many social, mental, emotional, relationship topics all in one shot. Because hip hop was birthed on the murdering of self-hate. That people would tell you that you're not good enough, you're poor, you're nothing, you're niggas, you're this, you're that, and spicks or whatever evil word they would put out into the world, and they would tell you that, and it was us turning against that norm that's changed the world musically. Fashion, style, aggressive, and passive aggressive intellectualness, right? And also, because I'm gonna jump around on the album, today's world has balloon popping shows with dating. It has things with people judging each other's character based on self-hatred. I don't like you because you're not tall enough. I don't like you because of how you're dressed. You can't change somebody's height, but you can always change somebody's clothes. And even if you are a real one, height should not be the thing that makes you throw away a great life. You know what I'm saying? It's really stupid. You're laughing. Come on, tell me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Come on.
And I feel like that's something the short man would say.
Word.
But I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
It's like height is not a big. It's like, what? I'm small. I'm a small person, and it's like there are a lot of advantages to being whatever height you are. I know I don't think people should discriminate, but I also don't think there's nothing wrong with having a preference. If you want
Oh
somebody
no.
that's
Yeah.
tall, that's cool.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bird behavior. I'm not talking about people and preferences, because some people like big girls, some people like small
Right.
girls, some people like tall
Right.
men, some people like short men. That's not what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I'm talking about stupid ass bird behavior where because somebody popped their balloon, I'm gonna pop mine too and tell a joke. Still shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Okay, respect.
But you touched even on that on the project, because you said about with the skit on the rejection, and then what people may say to you out of rejection, how you respond in rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Life is about not see. People think when you rich and you have a good life, not knowing that even with the more you have, you introduce more pain into your life because more doors are open to you, more people are open to you, and I want to jump around and talk about pain so heavy. Let's talk about that and talk about that pain and how you translated it into your music, because you hit pain on a couple of songs on here. And I would like to know, I like to understand, in context to the album, how did the pain relate to you not talking about your pussy, basically?
Okay. Pain throughout my life. It's constant. Everybody has highs and lows, right? But at different stages of your life, you learn how to deal with it in different ways. Some people have all types of vices. I myself at one point had many, right? Alcohol being one, shit like that. So I feel like now, I think as someone who's slightly older, and at a different point in my life in regards to how I filter through or process, I still have work to do. Which I feel like in Pain So Heavy, it was really discussing self-reflection and realizing what was at the root or the cause of certain pain, and how my actions are, um, how I'm suffering or having issues based upon my actions that are connected to this root, some like a bad habit that I need to pluck, or a ideology I need to get away from. But I feel like pain in general can be transferred into a power if you do the self-reflection and take the time to realize what a lot of your habits or ways of thinking stem from, instead of just kind of holding on to that pain and projecting it onto others, or projecting it onto yourself in a negative way, you know what I'm saying? And allowing yourself to kind of like implode. Like um I think I needed that release, because there's moments that, on some song cry shit, like you can't see it coming down my eyes, but I got to make the song cry. Like, it's like, this is just how I'm feeling. And I needed a record that could speak to it, because there's a lot of moments that when I'm looking for a song that can tell my story or speak to my truth, and I can't find it, I create it.
That's interesting, because you know what's funny that you say that? Some of the most pivotal songs made in people's career come at the height of their catharsis. People they either let go of life totally, or they let go of a part of life that introduced them to another side of life. Like, I forgot my man. It's leaving my head. He made "Sitting at the Dock of the Bay." He actually died in the bay before the song came out, and that was his last hit. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. You have people like Richie Valens, who just got his break, and then he had to let life go to live on. But then you have people like Whitney Houston, who used her pain to make melodies that saved and gave her a life, and also saved people's lives who listened to her. So music can be the ultimate medicine that actually can save your mentality or your living lifestyle and keep you from something that could actually hurt you. Like I said, I don't want to do every song. I want to do the songs that really connected with me and got me thinking. Because one thing I can say about this album, I'm coming from a male point of view into a female's realm of an understanding. And it gave me an appreciation for something that I had to be reintroduced to. One thing that you gave me that made me think is, you gonna respect me, bitch. Yeah, talk about it. You laughing. Yeah, because the title don't sound like the song.
The title does sound like the song. Okay, so that was one of the last songs to be created as well. And just like Get Your Ass Out Your Seats. I felt like I wanted something that was more fun, more playful. And that particular record was intentional in regards to something that I thought Missy Elliott would hear and want to get on. That's why that record was created. And also, having an ex that made me feel like I didn't have any girl records. I didn't have any playful records. I felt like it was runway. I felt like it was ballroom. I felt like it was it was more feminine presenting. Um, and I just wanted something that conceptually females could bop to, and not it be all about pussy. Like, you could respect me off of my swag. You could respect me off of who I am and what I got going on, and or my hustle. The same way guys get respected if they hustle every day. Like, every day. We got all the hustlers in the world are in the hip hop industry, apparently. And the majority of them and I know I'm being an asshole, but majority of them are males, and it's just like everybody's the greatest hustler alive, and they're respected for it. But women don't lead with hustle. And I'm like, yo, I would love to be a woman that leads with my hustle, like leads with what I'm able to bring to the table more so than anything else.
You're Catwoman. I got you. 101 to Rikers and Fight for Me back to back was kind of I think that's the most abrasive part of the album. Can you talk to me about those two songs?
Why do you feel like that part of the album is abrasive?
Because after Pain So Heavy, you're sitting down in thought, and then you're getting more story that makes you check yourself rather than just, oh, it's another song. You're actually in your spirit rather than just doing this. Well, smart people are not doing this; they're listening. So that's why I say abrasive. I don't say abrasive like it's offensive. I say abrasive that is rough. Like that's where you really are getting deep. And
like it's dense. That's what somebody was trying to explain to me. Even at the listening party, I watched the energy go from here to everybody was just sitting and quiet. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Do they not like it? And somebody was like, no. She said, by that point of your album, you have to listen. Like you can't just sit here and just kind of pay attention. Like you really have to focus. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, 101 to Rikers was me going back in time, but also like paying attention to what's taking place in the present. So back in time in regards to pulling from a point in my life that no longer exists, but relating it to the fact that there are a lot of men out here that are making choices with their lives, that are placing them that causing them to be incarcerated. And I don't always get the story of what it's like for the female on the other side that is spending time or showing love, or you know what I'm saying, and not on some I'm so happy that he's living this life and I'm gonna do it too. Like it's more so like, damn, I feel a way that I can't see you. I feel a way that I can't hold you. I can't speak to you in the way that I would like. I could have went deeper on that record and talk about how, this particular person I was referencing, his kids are missing him and all this other stuff. Like there's so many different stories, but I kind of focused on my experience showing up to Rikers and weekly and having these conversations, but seeing the other women, children, families that were affected by these men having these experiences and being at this point in their life, and what that was like, and how like heart-wrenching, like it's like it pull on your heartstrings in a different type of way to know that time is being lost, and you're having these limited conversations that you got to cherish until whenever the next time you can kind of engage. And then Fight for Me was very much and shout out to Ashley who produced both Fight for Me and 101 to Rikers, who was on tour with Nicki Minaj last year and this year, and is a violinist, produced on Pink Friday too. You know what I'm saying? Like for Fight for Me, I felt like it was really me touching upon different pockets of my life and things that I felt like could have resulted in me being a completely different person that was just succumbing to or allowing my trauma to overwhelm me and drown. I could have drowned in it, but it's like, yo, this is my trauma. These are all the different things, my bad habits, stuff that I had to work on, and this is how I responded to pain that was projected onto me. And in turn, I had to learn how to fight for myself. That's what made me who I am. That's what made me the beast. That's why you hear the lions roaring on the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that's the beast. Like, that's in a positive way, because I'm a Leo. Like, that's that type of beast. Like, it's like, if I had never learned how to fight for myself or protect myself or be put in positions where I constantly had to protect myself, I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things I accomplish. I wouldn't be able to hustle the way that I do. I wouldn't be able to execute at the level at which I do. And all of it was necessary. All of it was a teaching tool. And I just wanted to find a way to teach it to others, and relate and connect to others from that space.
And that's why those songs are important to me, because you also talk about on another song, pardon me, I forget the name of the song offhand, and my phone keep going on and off from my notes. I have another song where you talk about as a woman raising these black boys and the hell that their women are going through with that.
And
that's why I think the voice of the woman is so necessary in hip hop, because as a man, we always view things from our perspective. And also as men, we always, because we're the heads, we never take in consideration the other viewpoint of life from the person we protect or the person we represent. Like I was told from a woman, I think I brought this up in the last interview, men don't understand that when we go out at night, women call you and we say y'all nag us on the phone, but our job as protector, women feel safe when we're home. So when we're not, and then their protectors out in the world amongst the beast or the unknown, there's an unease to their womanly spirit and their woman character that God gave them that we tend not to think about.
Because you don't have, that's a privilege. You don't have to. And it's kind of fucked up to some degree in different moments how privileged men are to not have to worry about certain things that women have to worry about just because of the differences that we hold and carry. Because even I remember this whole Twitter thread where they were discussing what women would do. It was a Twitter thread, it was an IG thread, and they were like, women, what would you do if men didn't exist on this earth? And women were like, I would go walk in the park at night. Basic shit. There's a privilege to feeling safe and feeling like you don't require a certain type of protection apart from your protector not being home. And you got to worry about this man because you know he outside dealing with some real shit, regardless of whether it's at his own hands or not. If black men were running around here on their best behavior, they still could run into some bullshit based upon how this world works systemically, how they've been programmed to view the black man. It's like, of course we want you home. Of course we want you close. Of course we want you fed, loved. We want to nurture. We want to cater. We want to.
See, profound conversation that comes when you don't talk about sex only. And that's why this album, I Don't Rap About My Pussy, is so necessary. This is one of the best albums I've heard, period. I'm not going to say not in a long time. I'm not going to say in a while, period. You want to ask me if it's a classic? Go to sherealtalk.com. You see this? Go get your own copy, listen to it, and let you tell me if it's a classic. Because I'm not even going to give an opinion on it. I want you to give me an opinion on it because this album is a must-have. It's not too many albums I say that for. And people say, I respect your opinion. You're really into this culture. Well, then if you really respect me that much, check this album out because this is very important. This is an important album, not just a very fucking good album. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to, like I said, I'm going to keep some of it out because I want people actually to listen to it. I want to talk about my favorite song on the album. Uh-oh. Why you give me that look? What happened?
I just want to know which one it is.
Shout out to Marissa. She said it's a classic. Shout out to you. May the Most High bless you. Thank you for tuning in. My favorite song on the album is MTA because I can visually see the song. It's like an anthem song. This is a New York State of Mind song. You know, because New York State of Mind, people talk about Nas and he's giving you the poetic look about what it's like to be in the projects and what he went through. But this song is I'm happy and proud of where I'm from. And I'm going to take you on a ride all over so you can appreciate me through where I come from. And another reason why that makes that song my favorite is not only because you painted the canvas, you actually gave an after party in the song as well. Please talk about MTA and why that song is one of the most, is it one of the most best songs you made in your catalog that you think?
To this day, hell yeah. Like catalog, hell yeah. The one thing I love about MTA the most is that it don't really got curses in it. Like if you went line for line, it's like the whole song probably got like 2, 3, maybe. Like I noticed that I'm someone who only curses when necessary. I'm not someone who curses just to fill a space with a word because I don't know how to rhyme another word. Like I'm telling a story top to bottom. And MTA for me is special because I'm a New Yorker, and being someone who has had to utilize the MTA transit system my entire life, it marks time. Like you know what it was like at a point in your life when the 2 trains were red. Versus, like, you know what I'm saying? Versus them being the silver steel bullets that they look like now. You know what I'm saying? When it was graffiti everywhere inside of it, like completely different era. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what it's like depending on how, because I've noticed, I've met different people in New York that I'm like, damn, you really ain't leave your block, huh? I'm somebody who was everywhere, probably unnecessarily in my early 20s, but I look, I had to get out. I had to get out. So being in the Bronx or being in Brooklyn or being in Queens or being in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like, you know what it's like being on Utica Ave and trying to hop on the 4 train to get uptown to get to the 2 or 3 train. You know where you was at in your life. You know what it was like for me riding the 2 or to get to the 5 to go to Baychester Avenue up in the Bronx, like going to Mount Vernon, or being in Queens and being in Hollis, or and being on the E train and feeling like, man, this shit is taking forever. Like, you trains mark time. Okay, all right. The shuttle on the weekend is a blow. Okay, when you trying to get somewhere and the train all of a sudden goes to making local stops in the middle of the fucking ride, or train traffic ahead of us and we just sitting in the train station. You know what I'm saying? And the type of shit you experience on a train, from the people to the conversations to the smells to like being jam packed, like body to body, to like having all the space in the world and you a kid like hanging on the bars and dribbling a basketball up and down the fucking train. Like, trains mark time. So I felt like I wanted to utilize it to tell a story, even including like the battery lady walking up and down the train, because they used to sell DVDs and batteries on the train. If you was sitting there and I had my CD player and I'm like, shit, my CD player dying, I need batteries so I can keep listening to this album, because I'm walking around with binders full of CDs, as opposed to like everything being on your phone. That wasn't even a thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yo, thank God for this battery lady. You know what I'm saying? Because without her, I would have been on here pissed or focused on things that were making me upset, or things that were frustrating me, things that were bringing me pain, as opposed to just vibing out to my music. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I was just trying to embody that energy on that record, and like tell the story of what it's like walking to the train station to being on the train. You know what I'm saying? And try to incorporate, like, I got the Foley, like I was in Harlem catching the Foley, like catching the sounds of being on the train myself. Cause it was, all of that was intentional. Like, I knew this was a record I was going to create. I wanted the sounds of the city on the project as much as I could. It's just that in different pockets, there's certain things I couldn't use because of copyright infringement. Like, I could be walking through Harlem and all of a sudden you hear somebody playing somebody else's song and I'm like, damn, I can't use this. You know what I'm saying? But that MCA song, like bar for bar, and the story as a whole, I felt like it was a nice little anthem for the city. Like, anybody that in the tri-state area, or anybody that's ever took time to live in New York or spend time in New York, you know exactly how it feel. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly how that feel.
I got an idea for you for that song. We could talk about later, but besides MTA, I like D&D. That's something I really, really enjoy because it changes the complexion and it gives further concrete evidence of your artistic style. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to talk about that one. Y'all can buy the album and hear D&D. Because just to see how she talked about MTA, listen to D&D. These are my top 3 tracks, by the way. MTA, D&D, and Teacher Teacher. Teacher Teacher is the bonus track. And me being a teacher, of course, you know, it hits my heart a little bit. But you're someone who's been painted as a teacher, a poet, a lecturer, a philosopher. You're seen as a person that when they pick up the microphone, you are a prophet, not just a orator. What does Teacher Teacher do, and how does it, in your opinion, solidify this album as complete?
Okay, so I never know when I gotta go. I never know, because everything is temporary. I never know. I never know when I gotta go. And so when people are like, what do you want to do, like, ultimately? And I'm like, I want to open schools. So I felt like Teacher Teacher being the last record on the album was very much, and oh, I could feel my power right now. This is crazy. Like, I'm speaking into existence. I felt like that was the last record on the album, just in case this is what you get for a while before I embark on that journey. Because I gave myself a time frame for when I wanted to do that. But at the same time, I wanted it to close the album because I felt like from top to bottom, if you could make it to the teacher record, that means you already were open and receptive to the messages that were, threaded throughout, and you were ready for that song. If I had put it anywhere else in the album, I felt like it was easy for someone to ignore. But placing it at the end, the positioning of it was intentional because I felt like now you get it. Now you understand why I'm doing this. Like all of this is in regards me considering the future, considering legacy. That's why Teacher is last. It has nothing to do with nothing else. It's just like it ain't about me no more. By the end of the record, I'm letting you know it's about them. I'm worried about them and what they going through and the lives they lead. And that's why I'm doing all of this. That's why this is intentional. That's why this is important. That's why this is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because without it, like, it's like how many people do they really have to look to? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like most kids I've met and worked with in my lifetime, they pay the most attention to the people that are consistent in their lives or consistently showing up. But I've realized being in certain educational spaces that as the more I hustled and worked when it came to my craft, the kids in the school knew me just as much as the parents did. I would be walking to the building and they'd be like, "That's she real." And the kid is looking at the parent like, "What are you talking about? That's Miss C." And I'm like, "Shh." Like, I'm like, in the walking through the hallways, and the parents is like, "What you working? What you doing in here?" I'm like, "I work with kids. Like, you gotta chill." Like, like, but it's like, it once I realized how connected the community was and the overlaps that I started to experience, the more I worked, I was like, damn, what I'm doing is that much more necessary to the culture because I will influence both sides. I'm impacting both sides to be able to be in certain spaces with the parents and be able to carry myself a certain way and speak a certain way and connect in a certain way and then get around the kids and be like, all right, cool. This is where I feel like, let me try to uplift you and elevate you and pour into you in a positive way. And this way, it's like to be able to do that on both sides is an incredible like gift. It's an incredible gift and opportunity because everybody doesn't get that type of, because this feels crazy. Everybody don't get that type of access. Everybody don't get that type of access. So when you actually in it and you realize how much it means to be a teacher for both is crazy. And just to allow people to feel seen and heard and parents that feel like they don't know if they're doing a good job. It's like a lot of y'all are doing way better than you even know or understand. And then there's others that it's just like we need more work, but it's about finding ways that we could do this together. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta stop using our trauma as an excuse to pass down certain bad habits and thought processes, you know?
Let's recycle this interview. Now do you understand why I said what was Sunday the beginning of the week and not the end? In context of how you sequenced the album? Ladies and gentlemen, there's such things as called coincidental and accidental geniuses. And you just got example of both. Because a coincidental genius they just do things just because. And just because of that natural thing, we call it God-given ability, a God circumstance. It hits you just like that. And when the thing culminates into a message, it's like, oh shit. Because you just got taken on a ride to something spectacular that you didn't know it was there. I would say accidental because these things don't happen on accident, but when you stumble on something and it works, you keep going with it. And that's what this album has done as well. This album is in the vein of Heath Ledger's Joker because not only did he embody the role, he did something that made you sit down and think, this motherfucker is crazy. But if you really look at the motivation of the Joker in the movie, he was a genius because he showed you that society is corrupt. And all it takes is chaos for society to lose itself, only to be rebuilt through chaos. And this album shows you not only is music able to destroy what you think the culture is, it can help you appreciate and want to remake the culture and the vision or the inspiration of that person who inspired you. You did that with this album. I challenged you before not only to tell your story, but I told you, you have an Illmatic in your body that's just waiting to happen. It won't be Illmatic, but it will be your story. And this album is one of the greatest creations of a story that needed to be heard. So to everybody out there, I'm telling you, this thing right here is a life changer. So my keys, I take it everywhere I go. Look, that's what she wanted. She wanted to be everybody to take it everywhere you go. And this is one of the ones. I want to ask though, will this be ever on streaming, or will it be physical copies ever made for people to buy?
Okay, so maybe maybe I should be talking about this more. If I had more money, I would develop more products. So I had every intent and still have every intention of creating vinyls or creating other products, because it's like the t-shirt. Just let me.
You on mute.
Cool, great. I get to start over. So on the back of the shirt, it says, I don't rap about my pussy, right? And you have the image, but every shirt has a QR code inside. Let me see if I can. And if you scan this QR code, you get exclusive. You get the music videos first. You get exclusive content before everybody else. Not only do you get the album, so it's like there's different ways that I've been trying to be creative in regards to making sure people have access to the music or access to a personalized experience the same way. Because you carry around that joint in your keychain just so you can listen to the project. That's an icebreaker. That's a conversation starter. Somebody gonna see that and be like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Because it might look like a keychain, but it's like, yo, check this out. And you could just have them tap their phone right then and there and be like, listen to this. You know what I'm saying? It's all of that is intentional, but I do need help. I need creating the products, especially a lot of this stuff is like trial and error for me. So knowing how much to purchase, when, not knowing how many people are going to buy, all of those things come into play when you're just constantly investing. Having a listening party was an investment. Doing the Wu-Tang tour was an investment. It's like after a while, these things add up. You know what I'm saying? Even running your website is an investment. They charge you for that. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying? So I'm paying for all these different things, and it's like I consider placing it on streaming platforms all the time. But at the same time, it's like, what is the benefit to it? I literally can look at the analytics on my website, and on my phone, it'll pop up like somebody in Ireland was on your page today. Somebody in South Africa was on your page today. Somebody in Germany purchased the album. Somebody in New Jersey purchased the album. Somebody in Brooklyn, somebody in Las Vegas, somebody in LA purchased the album. Like it's New York and California heavy right now, and I think that's because I'm out in Cali and I'm being seen out here, and New York is home, and that's where I put the most work in. But it's just taking time. I just feel like it's a hustle, like the same way I used to sell CDs in Times Square. Now it's just about finding ways to let people know that the shit exists and getting it to the people. Like, and if you want it for real, you're gonna have to pay for it, because what I got is rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how Hov was like, letting them know you got some dope shit. Like I got some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? And when anybody that has heard the project has not been disappointed, not one. There's not one person that has said anything negative to me, like almost like they weren't anticipating what they had an idea of what it could potentially be, but everybody is tripping off of the fact that conceptually, top to bottom, they love it, with the skits and everything, the cadences, the vulnerability. And these are all type of, I don't know if you know who Coast Contra is. One of the members of Coast Contra. Okay, so Taj Austin from Coast Contra shared my project yesterday, because he was like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like talking, like he was like, yo, she one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like he said she wanted them. And I was like, yo, this is beautiful. Because when you think of what Coach Contra is for the culture lyrically, the essence of hip hop, the soul of hip hop that they carry, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's the respect of people like that. When I know that I can present it to anyone and get a dope response, from a Gen Z to a millennial to a Gen X. You know what I'm saying? Because being on stage for the Wu-Tang show, those were mostly millennials, but a lot of it, not mostly, it was some millennials, but it was mostly Gen X because of where they at in they era right now. Currently, the people that age with them, they're slightly older, but they were so receptive and ready and loving and supportive and like, oh my God, we've been waiting for you type of energy. Everybody was like, you the best performer of the night. Everybody wanted to know where they could get the project. And to ODB's older brother, Satellite Jones is his name on Instagram. But he's the drummer and for the band that was backing Jizza. But he was like, I don't think you understand. He was like, you got on stage and you delivered songs that nobody heard before. And the response that you got was crazy. He's like, I don't know if you understand how big of a deal that is. And I was like, yo, I didn't even think about it till you said it. You know what I'm saying? Because when somebody's hearing something for the first time, you get all types of reactions. But I had the room, each venue, I had the room. It was mine. From the moment they put that microphone in my hand to the time I got off stage. And once they knew I existed, once they knew what I was bringing to the table, that room was mine. And I felt like this shit feels so good because it took me so long to fucking get here in regards to my standard of excellence and being able to meet it for myself. It ain't even about nobody else. It's like musically, I worked for this. I worked for this. Bar for bar, story for story, I worked for this. To conceptually, I had to study other albums, go back and do research on skits from the top hip hop albums or the top people of all time, like, and the best skits of all time throughout history in hip hop. Like, I had to go and study. It wasn't like I just fucking woke up one morning and was like, I'm gonna say this. It was like, yo, all of it was intentional. And I feel like it deserves a platform. It deserves the time. It deserves the air, but it's about trying to get it to the right people. I don't need everybody. I just need the right people. I need the ones that actually are passionate, that actually love this culture, that actually give a fuck, that are actually fans first. That's who I want, you know?
And that's what we're helping to deliver. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best albums. I've been doing Heritage Hip Hop for 7 years. I can tell you what my favorite song I ever heard on Heritage Hip Hop was. But let me tell you something. This is one of the best albums I've ever heard since I did Heritage Hip Hop. I'm not talking top 5. I'm not talking top nothing. Listen, it's up there. It's up there. I ain't gonna put no number on it because at the end of the day, it's not about other artists. It's about replay factor. This album is dope. I'm telling you, it's really fucking excellent. Not good, excellent. And I want to say thank you to allowing me to hear your creative genius. I want to say thank you for allowing me even to pick your brain and have a conversation with you. I want to say thank you for giving hip hop hope, because while everybody out here talking about baby oil and some other bullshit that really doesn't matter, this matters. Because at the end of the day, no matter what scandal or what's out there, hip hop, in the words of Doggy Diamonds, salute the Doggy Diamonds, it all comes back to the music. And if you're not delivering great music, I can't deliver a great interview. I hope I did good this interview because I really want to focus on you. I can't deliver a great interview. I can't give you what I felt like when I heard something, and I can't tell you how meaningful it is to have a CD player in my car still, to be able to stream from my phone but to have a keepsake that keeps hip hop alive everywhere I go. I want to end the interview off like that. There will be no rapid fire questions. There will be no impressions, but you will stand on your square because I think you need that. It's only important that we let you talk your shit and tell everybody why this album is necessary. So please stand on your square.
Stand on your square. Okay. What I want, because from my mouth to God's ears, what I want, right? Because I feel like there's certain people that's giving you work right now, certain women that's giving you work right now. Rhapsody put out a dope album. Doechii put out a dope album. Now Doechii real in there. And I would love for that to be the conversation. Part of my hands. I would love for that to be the conversation. Because I feel like this album, if I had the machine, this album would be the most talked about album right now. Stand on my square. This album would be the most talked about album right now if I had a machine, if I had a bag, if I had the cosign of the niggas that y'all all praise. This album would be the most talked about album right now. Hands down, that's what I believe. Like, I wish if I had 10 stacks right now, I would put up 10 stacks to anybody that could prove that it wasn't the best album of the year right now. I would put up 10 stacks. Like, no bullshit.
Tell them how to get it.
He said, tell them how to get it. It's on sherealtalk.com. One word spelled exactly how it sounds. sherealtalk.com. And there's many NFC CDs. You got the merch that has the QR code. I don't know which way to go. You got the merch that has the QR code that you scan in the back that gets you the album, the music, and content. And there's more in store, more on the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm the money person behind this, so I feel like when I get more, then you'll get more. But for now, that's what I got. And there's more artists. Trust me, on my page. Pardon me. There's a lot of artists that follow me more than anybody else. And the artists are like, yo, this is crazy. They want to know who my merchant is so they could get the mini NFC CDs so they can make them for themselves way before they even try to support me. That's really what's going on. So it's not like the CD ain't popping. For the ones that's ordered it, yo, shout out to y'all because I've had a lot of orders. But it's also like, it's a hustle in it. It's a hustle in it right now. And I'm just trying to figure out a way to filter through the nonsense so I can find the people that really need it. Because anybody I show this device to, they are tripping. Like this plays music. It's a keepsake you can have forever. It's something you could pass on to anybody. As technology improves, the NFC is something that we're gonna be using for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So sherealtalk.com, y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it.
So with that being said, y'all, we gonna get out of here because it's late. She got things to do. We're important. She got things to do. I got things to do. But more importantly, you got music to buy. So for $10, y'all, right? $10? $10.
Nah. It's 20.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
20.
For $20, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 20.
My bad.
It's 17. It's 17 tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth your money.
Yeah.
$20. Some of y'all throw that at the club, or some of y'all throw that on the junk food y'all don't need to buy because you're fat. Make sure you get that thing right there and get your music. Send a shout out to any man who buys a shirt. Send me a picture of you with a shirt that says I don't rap about my pussy. That would be excellent. I need that picture. Please send me that picture.
No, guys, only females have bought this shirt.
Nah.
No guys
I
have
need
bought
to
this
see
shirt.
that because there's some man gonna buy that shirt. I know it. And I want to see the man that's gonna buy that shirt. And most importantly, thank you for making this album. Because guess what, everybody? She doesn't have to rap about pussy, but she can rap about yours, even though she doesn't rap about her own. Inside joke. If you buy the album, you know what I'm talking about. So, any last words before we get out of here?
Nah, just thank you. Thank you for taking the time because I know you don't have to. And you could be talking to anybody in the world, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for holding me down and supporting and showing love in the way that you do and continuing to inspire me to keep going.
And you did the same thing for me. Because believe me, it's hard sometimes having a conversation, but it's the love of people who revitalize you that makes these things happen. So for y'all who don't know, I'm going to tell you one more time. This is one of, if not the best albums I've ever heard since doing Heritage Hip Hop. See that right? I put it right in the camera right there. Love that hair and everything in the middle, right there. I don't rap about my pussy. That's one of the best albums out today. And I'm gonna put up there. Y'all talk about the blog era or whatever this era is. That right there is one of the top creations of our hip hop era. And I can't wait to see KRS-One again and let him hear that. I really because really you got artists to say, no, this is a great album, but the artists don't support artists because they ride each other's dicks. They just want to be the best one themselves. Not knowing that when you uplift the culture, you get your opportunity as well, because that makes more shows, that makes more opportunities for you to be seen, it makes more. Let me tell you something. I believe in this album to the point where it should be a mainstream best-selling album. It is. So to you and everybody else out there that's making that good music, thank you. Heritage Hip Hop will always be here to support you. Make sure you subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop. It says that down there. Subscribe to heritagehiphop.com. You can follow her at She Real Talk on Instagram. You can follow me at Heritage Hip Hop on all platforms, streaming media and social media, and on YouTube where this is. So we're going to get out of here. May the Most High bless you all. Buy that album. Enjoy the music. My boy here.
Bye.
Hey, how you doing?
He happy now. He got to get it on camera. That's him. He do every show. May the Most High bless y'all. Peace, and we out. Before we get out, buy the damn album. We out.